Where are you from? I get this question a lot, and every single time someone asks me this question, it brings me a lot of discomfort. See, I was born in Morocco. We immigrated when I was 8, grew up in New Jersey, and I live in Brooklyn now. I haven't been back in 25 years, and yeah. And over the years, over the last 10 years, I've done a lot of research. I mean, I looked up genealogy studies about Moroccans and realized that, contrary to popular belief, they're actually more Berber than they are Arab. And I sent in for 23andMe, and to my surprise, they told me I was Moroccan. None of those things kind of helped bring me any comfort. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've made a routine every Friday night to go visit my parents in New Jersey. And if you grew up in an immigrant household, you're probably used to this, but an iPad gets passed around. And there's FaceTime or Skype with everyone that's overseas. And just like every Friday, I get handed the iPad, and my mom is giving me instructions. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how this is. And I hate that. I despise it because I'm like, if you want to ask them, why don't you ask them? Here. So she gives me the iPad, and on the other side is my grandfather, and he looks just like me. He looks like the mirror image of me when I grow up, when I get older. And I go through the normal motions. How are you? Good. Then he asks me, how are you? Good, good, good. And then, as usual, I just grab the iPad with one hand. I'm about to hand it off to my brother so he could deal with his own discomforts with that. And as I'm about to do it, my grandfather looks at me, and he's like, when are you coming to visit? So I kind of take the iPad back, and I'm like, I didn't know how to get out of this one. I was like, maybe next year. I'll come next year. And this is the first time I've kind of seen him upset with me. See, I'm the oldest of 9 grandkids, and I'm the favorite. He tells all the grandkids this. Youssef is the favorite. And this is the first time I've seen him upset. I've never, I don't know if grandparents get pissed at their grandkids ever. And he's like, I might not be here next year. So now I'm holding the iPad with 2 hands, and I don't know how to get out of this. Like, I have to do something. So I look at him, and I just say, let me see what I can do. So then I hand it off to my brother, and now I'm responsible. Now I have to, own up to my word. So my mom was actually, this was about a year ago, and my mom was leaving in a month to go to Morocco. She spends all her vacation days in Morocco, basically all 3 weeks. So I decided I can't spend all 3 weeks because I already had vacations planned. I already took some vacation. So I'm like, I'll meet you for a week while you're there. So next thing you know, I hop on an airplane, and I'm looking around, and everybody looks like me. This is strange. Like, as a brown boy living in America, it's like I'm looking around. I'm not unique. I'm not special. Everybody looks just like me. And it's kind of freaking me out because I've never been in this situation before. So, the flight is about 8 hours or so. We land. I get out of the plane. I grab my bags. And as soon as I come out from the arrivals portion, I see my mom, and I see my cousins, my uncles, like everyone's there. And it's just kind of crazy because it's all these figures from all the iPad sessions that I've had over the years. It seems surreal. It was like a movie. It's like I'm seeing these people actually move in real life. So, I hug everyone, and it was like 5 or 6 of them. They took a cab over. So I decided, I'm going to rent the car, and I'll drive us back. Everybody gets in the car. We drive back to my grandparents' place. As soon as I walk in, again, overwhelming. It was like 25 family members sitting around, greeting me. They bring a band in. They're chanting stuff like, welcome home. And it's just like music and madness, and I'm just like freaked out. I'm like, I don't know these people. These people are crazy. Let me just take a step back. And they just keep hugging me and kissing me and all this other stuff. And as time goes by, everywhere that I went in Morocco, I was chaperoned. Like, I could not be there by myself. Like, I had an escort with me at all times, whether it's an uncle or a cousin or a bunch of cousins or a bunch of uncles. And it's just like I couldn't detach myself from them. I'm not used to having people around me at all times. It's as though, like, privacy doesn't exist in Morocco. It gets to a point where my cousin invites me to go to the local bathhouse. So I go with him, I'm down to try stuff out. We go to the bathhouse, and it's kind of customary, if you love someone, to scrub their back, right? So he doesn't even ask me. He just starts doing it. And I'm like, okay. It was like half an hour of scrubbing. And at this point, I feel a little awkward because I'm like, I don't even know how to do it back. And I kind of asked him, I'm like, can I do it to you? He's like, no, you're good. You're the guest. You're the guest. You don't have to do anything. So as time goes by, again, chaperoned everywhere. I'm getting to see, like, every dinner has 20-something people in it. Like, everybody's gathered. And I'm pretty sure it's just for me. I'm pretty sure they don't do that every day. It's a lot of them, and they're screaming and yelling, and they seem crazy. And at this point, my grandfather has to go to work. He's retired, but he still goes to his office, and he's about to take a cab. And I'm like, I have a rental. Like, I'll just drive you. So after he refuses, then I take him. We drive over, and he's like, come in. So I get out of the car. I go in, and I was a little surprised. Like, he's like, look around. Do you see anything? So I'm looking around. It's just an office with calendars and stuff. So I look around, and I see pictures of me growing up, like all these years, the last 25 years, all the milestones that I've reached in my life, like graduating high school, graduating college, random pictures that I posted on Facebook over the years. So it's a week. The week passes pretty fast. And at this point, it's time for me to go. So I have my bags packed. I'm about to hop in the rental and go to the airport. But of course, every single person in my family wants to come along with me. And it's just like, you guys are not going to fit. Like, it's too many. And like, it's okay. I'm going to go by myself. And everybody's insisting that they're going to come with me. They'll take cabs, whatever it needs to be. And I'm like, listen, guys, I'm actually getting pretty annoyed. I'm like, I'm just going to go by myself. I'm carrying like 3 giant bags. I'm like, I'm good. As I'm having this argument with my cousins and my uncle, my grandfather just grabs me by the hand. I look down, and he didn't say anything, but I see my hands in his hands. So he pulls me into his room. And at this point, he opens his closet, and he's shuffling. Like, he's older, so his hands are shaking. And I feel like he wants to give me something, but he doesn't have much. So whatever it is, I don't want to accept it. So he's shuffling, and he grabs these 2 hats, and then he shoves them in my hand. And I just refuse them. It was 1 red hat, 1 yellow hat, both like very ceremonial. One is like, each one of them is used for weddings or births or like really big occasions where you dress up in traditional garb. And for him to give me his hats, I just refuse it. I just keep my hands open. He shoves them in my hand. And at this point, I can't refuse. And I just break down crying. I've had all these questions all these years. And as time went by and I'm headed to the airport, like, when people ask me, where are you from? Or what are you? Moroccan, American, Moroccan-American. I'm like, those are just words. They don't mean anything. Like, the concept of home is a feeling. And I feel like every time now I look up, I have those hats in my apartment, I just get that feeling back, something I didn't have before.